Save up to 50% off roller blinds, sheer curtains and vertishears at ABC Blinds mid-year makeover sale. It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
Good morning, Kymba.
Good morning.
Have you been across the figures on the Pete Kymba Ben Instagram for the last 24 hours? People voting for your costume that you're going to be wearing this Sunday when you end up in the dunk tank.
You know I don't have Instagram.
I know you don't.
I have no clue what's going on.
I love this. This is always a nice big surprise.
You have chosen the outfits for me and put them up for people to vote on because I will be dunked this weekend at the Eagles game for FightMND, which is a great cause, but I'm less keen about the dunk part.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine.
Does someone have to throw something at me? Do you have to throw something at the
Jeez, that's a
tank?
good question. I don't know if it's the traditional dunk tank when somebody's throwing or if someone's just going to press a button. I would imagine because they get through a few of you. So could you imagine if, like, they line people up to throw things at it to dunk you, how long that would take?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I reckon they'd probably press a button and down you go.
It has always been my dream to just line up like cattle and just get in there and ice off.
You're gonna have a ball, but you could be going as either Elon Musk complete with Tesla, Marge Simpson.
Yep.
Could also be going in the balloon dress that you wore as the celebrant for the wedding you built from a couple of weeks ago.
I have to remake that
Yep.
because I've already got rid of the balloons.
Oh, no. I got you there.
Oh.
I've taken care of it.
Oh, okay. Right.
And also Pitbull, which was Ben Cousins' suggestion yesterday for Friday's Live.
With a fun little bald mask.
Got a bald cap. Yep, we got your sunglasses and we're going to draw a little goatee on you. It's going to be very cute.
Fantastic.
Very, very cute. Listen, you still got about an hour and a half. We're going to reveal the costume after 7:30 this morning. If you'd like to go and vote, at Pete Kymba Ben on Instagram right now.
If I was on Instagram, I would totally do that.
Totes,
I would
bro.
follow that
Totes.
big time.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
In the meantime, you might want to jump onto at Pete Kymba Ben on Instagram and hit the stories because there's some voting going on there right now because this Sunday you're going to end up in the dunk tank.
I sure am.
For FightMND and the Big Freeze, but it's happening. This is the local one. This is the one that happens at Optus Stadium with the West Coast Eagles. And it's going to be awesome. But yeah, we spun the wheel. You got nominated. You're in the drink. But we got to dress you up.
Apparently, you've given me some suggestions, some which I wasn't entirely happy with.
No, I know you weren't happy with Elon Musk.
I'd first like to share with you my vision for the future. I believe in a renewable energy future. I believe that humanity must become a multi-planetary space-faring civilization. Those seem like exciting goals, don't they?
Honestly.
I just love every time I play an Elon Musk grab to you on this show, I just see the face, just the colour change in your face.
You know what? Just anyone with that much power and that much money, I just want them to be better. I just want them to be better than they are at everything.
The next one, Marge Simpson. All right, our dear Marge Simpson.
We're on a tight budget here. Bart, watch your language. You are not going to perform that operation yourself.
When's the last time you watched an episode of The Simpsons?
Oh, it's been a long time. I was a big fan, but back in the original episode, I haven't seen kind of probably, it's still going, isn't it?
It is still going.
I haven't seen the last decade.
It's on Disney Plus now on streaming.
Yeah,
but yeah, every night on Channel 10, you used to come home and watch it. I used to be able to tell what Simpsons episode it was going to be from what part they were. You know, when they get on the couch at the very beginning of the episode, I could tell you which one it was going to be.
Yep.
Marge Simpson's up there, and then we're bringing back a classic from the wedding, which was the balloon dress. Which I have high hopes for this one because I know what's going to happen is you're going to end up in the dunk tank and all the balloons are going to float up to the surface.
It'll just be my body under the water and then all the balloons suffocating me above the water.
Oh, God, it's a bit of fun. Hey, and the other one, Ben Cousins had a suggestion because we got Friday's Live, massive headliners. Mariah Carey's going to be there, so's Pitbull.
I feel like it's bordering on blackface. Not going to lie.
Well, it's a Hispanic
I'm pretty
face.
sure he's Hispanic.
Yeah, he is Hispanic.
That sounds like a spray tan to me.
But as long as we don't spray tan you, it's okay. It's not cultural appropriation.
How's anyone going to know I'm Pitbull
Because-
and not just like Dr. Evil?
I'm glad you asked because Dr. Evil doesn't have the goatee and the sunglasses. So we're going to put the goatee on you and the sunglasses. You're going to have the bald cap. That's the difference. Everybody knows it.
And I'd have another costume ready for when I go to Friday's Live.
100%, right? So we're going to knock that off.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
6:37, Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins. If you'd asked me a million years ago if I ever saw myself sitting on a radio show going, you're going to teach a former Brownlow medalist and premiership player how to do a radio show, I would have told you you're nuts.
Yeah,
and yet here we are.
Well, we are teaching him.
Yet here we are.
You know, it's not his usual bag, is it?
It's not his usual bag, but he's come a long way. He's come a long way, Ben Cousins.
We can now get him to tell open, honest stories about his haircuts.
Yeah. Because we launched
We're
something
really
yesterday.
delving deep, guys. Don't worry. We'll get to the bottom of this.
Oh, you did. We launched something yesterday called Ben Cousins Storytime, where you've got your pot over there with all of the different topics.
And there are some topics in here that he might cringe at. Because any topic I pull out is just going to be, hey, Ben, it's time to tell us a story about, and then I'm going to pull one out. And I don't know how he's going to take all of them.
Well, as you mentioned, yesterday's, it was a haircut. Have a listen.
A life well lived is full of a bunch of crazy nonsense. So now on Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins, it's story time with Ben Cousins.
I love it. Oh, the pressure.
It's story time
I can
now.
see myself going to water here.
I've got a bucket of topics in here, and at random, we're just going to pull out a topic, and then you're just going to tell us a story if this is something that's happened in your life, okay?
A bucket and a shovel.
Yeah, well, I've got the shovel. You know I've got the shovel, mate.
Okay.
Actually, that's not a bad idea if the story's banging on a bit.
The bucket and the
I'll
shovel.
just shovel you.
Today's topic. Ben, tell us a story about the worst haircut you've ever had.
Oh, I've had a few.
Have you?
Yeah, I have had a few. Well, my worst haircut story, it's actually closely related to my best, actually, because I've always been partial to a mullet.
Oh.
So I was in year 11, was when I first jumped into the mullet, quite a severe one, in the footsteps of Danny Southern. So I had the very extreme...
Who's Danny Southern?
Remember Danny Southern played for the Western Bulldogs?
I'm Googling.
He was from Perth originally. He's
Right.
back in Perth
Okay,
now.
so former footballer.
Okay,
Shave.
hang on. We need to really describe this. Go on. It's a full shaved head. I would almost call this a rat's tail. Would you say that's a rat's tail?
Danny had it was long and that
Long only in one section, mate. Only in the
Yeah.
ponytail part. The rest of it is completely shaved.
Yeah. You know Danny Southern. He was iconic.
How long did you sport this hairdo? Was this year 11 for you?
Yeah, at least 12, 18 months.
Did you plait it?
No, I never plait it. But
So the shaved head with the...
that was when I first dived into the mullet, and then I sort of warmed to it, and I had a mullet then in my maybe my mid-20s.
I remember that
So
one.
much so. And so the thing with the mullet too, I've always been envious of the real thick mullet. And I did fall into a hairdressing friend of mine who talked me into getting, in the off-season, hair extensions in the mullet.
You're joking.
You put
Overnight, I had thick. It's a thick mane, almost not quite to the middle of my back, but it was.
What?
long.
Did you?
Oh, that's ugly.
Did we see
This
this?
is
Was
what I'm
this...
saying, you know?
Was this when you
it
were
was
playing?
my worst haircut, but even I had, there was...
Do you
still
remember
love it?
Do you remember the
And
year?
I just don't think the game was ready for extensions at that stage, so I didn't...
I can't believe people weren't talking about it.
I didn't play with them. I don't even know if I turned up to training. I think I took them out before.
Yeah.
I'm self-conscious.
Probably a good idea.
Wow.
Okay, that's not bad, mate. That's a
Story
good run.
time with Ben. We're bringing this back.
So there you go. And you've got a big bucket there full of topics.
So many
Yeah,
topics.
and he's got quite a history, we all know.
Yeah, we could delve deep.
Absolutely. So we will do that more. But by the way, we found the photo of him with the hair extensions.
Also, do you think it was coloured? I looked at the photo, and I don't know if he's been
yeah.
entirely honest, because it had Ranger vibes, didn't it?
Yeah,
there
it
was like
did.
some beautiful reds coming through, these auburn shades coming through the sun, and I don't think that's the colour of his hair.
Well, it would have been sort of mid double O's, I reckon, thereabouts that time, which, I mean, colouring your hair for blokes was in.
Yeah.
It was, I used to go and get frosted tips.
Of course you did. There is not a doubt in my mind that there are a series of photos of you around with frosted tips.
Salmon shirt, popped collar, Metro's free.
And
Let's
a
go.
really low button.
Bloody stupid. We're going to put that photo up on our Instagram, by the way. So if you head on to @PeteKymbaBen,
Go and check out Ben's rat tail.
Go and have a look.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
On Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins, it's yay or nay.
Good morning, producer Brooke.
Hello, I'm channeling Rami running in at the last minute as well, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, good for you, mate. Well done. That's
Love that.
That's how to play this game the best. To be
Rami's-
completely
Rami's
underprepared.
off unwell today, but Brooke, filling in to do your best to get us cancelled.
Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to, take his spot, so
Good.
vote for me. Our first one this morning is a motorhome holiday.
3, 2, 1.
Yay.
You would love this, wouldn't you, Pete?
Oh, mate. Just tomorrow. I'd go tomorrow.
It's funny, when you're younger, I remember when I was about 22, I had a housemate who met a girl and they were like, oh, we've gutted this caravan and we're taking it around Australia. And I remember thinking, when did you retire? Because it seemed like too young. But right now in my life, would I want to travel around Australia in a van or a motorhome? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. And I'm seeing a lot of them pop up on Instagram. I'm getting fed a lot of that at the moment. And they're all young. They're all in their 20s.
van
and
life.
They're going nuts. And it looks like so much fun. They spend their nights lighting campfires and looking at the stars. And
Well,
it's
Pete,
great.
have you seen Will Smith's new motorhome?
No, I don't want to look at Will
I'm
Smith's new
Googling.
motorhome.
It is a $4 million motorhome. It has a 30-person cinema.
Oh, that's not a
sauna.
motorhome. That's a
30
semi-trailer.
person cinema.
It's 2 stories. It is a motorhome. You can...
$3.8 million.
Yeah.
That's not a motorhome.
I mean, you can drive it, so it is.
Look at the size of it. I mean, if you think of a massive
Jeez.
semi-trailer truck.
So you can
With a
hire
huge-
it. That brand, you can hire it for the night. It'll cost you $14,000 a night. To
Wow.
hire that. I'd do that. That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
you do that. Yeah, absolutely
Wow.
you do. I could
That's
really
amazing.
picture you sitting
I know,
there.
in my 30-person cinema.
Do you know what, though? No matter how big it is, on the inside, still looks like the inside of a plane.
Well, it does,
Yeah,
doesn't it? And it has
skinny.
to, because at the end of the day, you got to drive the thing.
Yeah.
And you can only
Mind
drive
you,
it so far.
It is only moderately smaller than the absolute monster truck that you're currently driving,
Oh,
Pete.
get out! Have you seen what I'm
It's
driving
stupid.
at the moment?
He's driving the
No.
stupidest car right now.
So there's
huge.
it's a Ford F-150, and it's not
What's
mine.
the 250? What's the difference?
The 250
Is that even bigger?
It's bigger.
Oh, for goodness'
It's
sake.
much bigger. The 250.
It's so dumb. Rami
But it's-
couldn't even see over the bonnet when he was standing in front of it
But
yesterday.
it's amazing because it's been done up by this local group of guys, right? And it's got these massive tyres, been
Okay.
lifted. Like you can't even.
couldn't park it.
I can't drive it into the cup.
Do you have to park it
Oh,
like
Brooke.
the back of
Outside.
There's no way you could park it. We've seen
I
your
couldn't-
parking.
I'm the worst parker in
She's
the
such a
world.
bad parker.
I'm terrible.
I'm going to get you to try and park this thing.
Oh, I couldn't. I genuinely couldn't.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
genuinely couldn't.
We'll see.
All right. So the next one,
Yep.
a band reunion.
3, 2, 1.
Yay.
Yay! Massive yay!
Well, have you
Who's the
seen?
band?
Well, it's 5. Do we remember 5?
Do we remember 5?
Yeah, Pete's probably got the music ready to go.
No, I've got some audio though, because from the reunion, because they were actually, it was Robbie Williams did a concert, and then during his stadium concert in London, he brought up for the first time in 25 years.
5.
So
Get
let's
out.
have a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first time they've been seen on stage for 25 years. My mates, 5.
Baby, take a good look around. I know it's not much, but it's okay. Oh my God, I had that song and so many. I had the CD singles. Used to go to Sanity back in the day.
I would have cried if I'd been at that concert and I didn't know that was going to happen. I would have
Really?
lost my marbles.
Really? Was that like a big thing for you?
Huge.
Oh.
Loved 5.
Set
Okay.
number 1. Set number 1. Oh my God.
The
It's
best.
taking me right back to sitting on the carpet in the living room on a Saturday morning watching Rage.
Nice
The
one.
best.
I dig it.
Anything else?
fan.
Any other yay or nays?
That's it, guys.
That's
That's it.
It was very fun.
No one got cancelled.
No, not at all. Rami's going to make you work harder next time.
Oh, no. Sorry, guys.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
Dear Kymba.
This one is a common one. Dear Kymba, it's been a rough week and I need some advice. Early too, if it's only been a week. Oof. I've found out my partner has cheated on me. Physically, it was only once, but they'd been speaking for a while, so the emotional cheating was much longer. He is begging to keep our family together, and if I'm being truly honest, I want to forgive him. If I forgive him, am I crazy? Are we doomed? Will my friends ever be able to be around him? Do I hide it from my kids? I have so many unanswered questions, and I'm hoping you can help. Anonymous and heartbroken.
Excuse me.
I don't know the answer to all of the questions, like, are you doomed? Will your friends ever be allowed to be around him? Will they cope? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do know people who have taken back a cheating partner.
Yeah.
And it's working out for them.
I've known plenty.
Yeah.
There's a very close to us, in fact, someone I went to school with, cheating partner. Mm-hmm. This was before they got married and things got super serious. So even had the option of, you know what, now we're not that far down the track where I could get out of this and that's it. Decided to stay with him and now married, a couple of beautiful kids and have been happy ever since.
It's tough because there's always an exception to the rule, right? Like,
of course
people search desperately for other people who have done this. And 131060, if you stayed with your partner after they cheated, we want to hear from you because I'm sure we just want to hear what was the biggest thing to get over. What was the biggest hurdle?
I reckon in most cases the biggest thing to probably get over is it might be how you consider people perceive you if you take them back. You know, like your friends and your family
it's interesting
and
you say that,
all of that sort of stuff.
Because one of the most baller moves that my friend did, and I think was so cool, when she found out her husband was cheating on her and they decided they would like to work on it and they went to counselling and whatnot. But the first thing that she did is that she made him call all of their family and friends and tell them what he had done.
Oh, wow.
Because she said, if you think I'm going to wander around the planet being sad sack or people wondering what's wrong with me or me having to protect you, absolutely not. This is going to be out in the open. You call all of our friends and family, you tell them what you've done, and then you say that we're working on it and we need their support.
And how'd that go?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Because he had to own it.
Yeah.
He had to be accountable for it. He had to tell everybody. And she didn't have to shy around the joint. Everyone could be like, how are you going? And she could be honest about it. Or she could say, I don't want to talk about it today. Or, yes, I do. And didn't have to hide or protect him.
A great way to handle it. Because honestly, I reckon half the time it's the shame. And more often not than half the time, it's the shame of the person who's been cheated on.
Yeah, because they feel like we have to walk away.
Yeah.
But, relationships are complicated, right? Marriages last a long time. People are actually trying to work through these things. What is good for someone is not good for someone else.
So here's the good news for the person who's written you that, dear Kymba. People are calling and they've got stories about this very thing that have happened to them.
Yeah, help out Anonymous, 131060. If you have stayed with a cheating partner, tell us how it worked out. Jenny, you've been with your husband for 20 years. What happened?
Hiya, yes, I have. So my husband came forward approximately 2 years ago to tell me 18 years ago he was unfaithful to me. He had an affair.
Wow.
Which he said the guilt was killing him and he wanted to come forward and tell me. He said he just needed to get it off his chest.
Oh. Wow.
Honestly, I wish he hadn't.
Why?
Well, because now she knows too much.
And it's also... he might have eased his guilt and he feels better because he's come forward and said, oh, that's it, it's done. But now I'm carrying it, and not his guilt, but I'm carrying the what else has he lied about? What else has he done?
How could he sit on this for 18 years?
Yeah, and why do it when we were at the prime of our relationship? And would he do it again? And look, to be really honest, he has been absolutely wonderful. He's been very supportive. He's listened to my rants, my
as he should.
Yeah, of course. In his face. He's not doing you a favour.
No, but he's taken it, and he said, "I'll do whatever it takes for you, to forgive me, and however long it takes, I'm happy to wait that length because our marriage is the strongest it's ever been, and I don't want to ruin anything."
Wow, Jenny.
Good luck with it, Jenny, because I do feel like that's the thing. When people want to relieve themselves of guilt, you're like, well, go you. But now you've burdened her with it.
But 18 years down the track.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, wow.
Cassandra, you stayed with a cheater. What happened?
So, obviously I found out, and he begged and pleaded and cried for me to forgive him, so I stayed. and he just got better at hiding that he was cheating.
Oh, no.
God.
Oh,
How long did
Cassandra.
it last?
4 years, 4.5 years. We were planning a wedding, trying for a child, and I found out that he'd cheated the whole 4 years and had just gotten really good at hiding it.
Different women, Cassandra? Multiple women?
Multiple women. The final straw for me, the one that finally broke me out of it was the girl that he swore I didn't have to worry about. You know the one.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everyone's got the one, that woman. And then the week I broke up with him, he moved in with her and they started trying for a child.
Good riddance.
Oh, wow.
Dodged a bullet, Cassandra.
Oh, you certainly did. Sorry to hear that, Cassandra. That sucks.
Beth, your husband cheated with one of your friends. What happened?
So we were friends, not a long friendship, just like a work friendship. She had a crush on he was my boyfriend at the time, for quite a while. Got me fired from my job and kept pursuing him. In the beginning, he did not like her for getting me fired from my job. But they developed a friendship, and like the anonymous, it was emotional cheating and then one-time physical. I found out, and I didn't want to take him back in the beginning, but
You did?
Pretty much, I did.
But where is it at now?
Yeah.
Our relationship.
Yeah.
We're married. We have a baby on the way. Pretty much I just said, I'll get back with you if you're willing to do couples therapy, like we're doing therapy, which is the best thing. And honestly, our relationship is so much better since the cheating. I think some people are cheaters. They just are. And some people just make a mistake.
You feel he's the one that made a mistake?
Yeah, 100%.
Right, okay.
And, your relationship is probably
Yeah.
better for the counselling rather than the cheating part, but I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Well, it's like, he's so... Thankfully, he brought this cheating to our life, which made our relationship so much better.
But great to hear that it's worked out for you because, there's clearly an example there where it hasn't. And there's another one where it has. And, so this is a hard one, isn't it? There's no rule. I suppose you just got to follow your gut. If your gut is saying to you that he's a one-time thing and he's a good person, then,
Good luck.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
Good morning.
The drone seems a little serious.
Because this is serious business.
Sounds it. This is serious business.
This is really serious business. So this weekend is the West Coast Eagles WA Freeze at Optus Stadium for the MND Big Freeze this Sunday. You can see fightmnd.org.au to donate. If you're watching Collingwood and the Demons in the 1-point game yesterday, this was what you would have seen at half-time when they're all going down the slide.
And you know me, I'm at every Eagles game anyway.
You are. Can't get you away from there.
I'll already be there on Sunday.
They've got you, they've got that special room for you and everything.
Yeah.
They do. But you're the one who's taking the plunge for us. So before the game kicks off this weekend for the West Coast Eagles, you'll be taking the plunge. You'll be sitting on the dunk tank.
I drew some short straw where I found myself in winter in an ice tank.
That's right.
I mean, it's just... Do you remember when we stayed in the MSWA house and they put us in the ice bath?
Yeah.
Or the time we did that, 24-hour show and they put us in the ice bath. On both of those occasions, I was terrible company. Really bad company. I was in so much pain and I felt like my feet were burning.
I'm just really interested to see how you go with this one. Given that... You just generally run cold anyway.
I'm freezing all the time.
You grabbed my hand with your hand yesterday.
Yeah.
And I thought you'd put ice in my hand.
When I shake hands with people, I apologise because my hands are so cold all year round.
All right, so the options that you had, right, because I had to dress you.
Yep.
Right, because you got to go in costume. So you could have been Elon Musk.
I'd first like to share with you my vision for the future. I believe in a renewable energy future. I believe that humanity must become a multi-planetary space-faring civilization. Those seem like exciting goals, don't they?
Don't they? Now, I can tell you, Elon Musk, you will not be going as Elon.
Thank goodness.
Right, because we had
WA.
at Pete Kymba Ben on Instagram, the stories, you can click on those. That's where you were voting the last 24 hours. Elon was the lowest at 5%.
I'm glad, because I was worried about going and making it look like I was representing a flog. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't want to be the person who's like, why is she going as Elon?
Yeah.
I'm not a supporter.
Yeah, you're not going as Elon. So thank you to the listeners. I can tell you will also not be going in the balloon dress from the wedding.
I loved the balloon dress at the wedding you built. I had a fun time.
Now, this sucks. This is the one I was hoping for. I brought this back. This was a little personal one for me because I wanted to see you get dunked. And then, you come out of the bottom of this balloon dress with all of the balloons still floating at the top. It just would have been hilarious.
It would have been a great vision, but no.
Ben Cousins had the suggestion for Friday's Live, Pitbull's on the way. It's dressing you as Pitbull, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bald cap, sunglasses, white suit, goatee.
Little concerned about cultural misappropriation.
Right. You will not be going as Pitbull, came in at 21%, which means you will be going as...
We're on a tight budget here. Bart, watch your language. You are not going to perform that operation yourself.
In an absolute flood, 62% of the vote for Marge Simpson. There's a lot of Simpsons fans that still listen to this show.
Great.
All right.
Okay.
So,
are you guys helping me out with the costume? Where am I going to get hair and stuff?
We're already
Do I have to
checking.
be yellow?
That's a great question.
Do I need to be yellow?
I don't know. Is that Simpsons cultural appropriation? I'm not sure. I'm going to paint you. So I've already made a few calls. We've got the blue hair.
Yeah. Have
the
you?
Green dress.
Oh, great.
We've got the blue shoes.
Yep.
Because she wears blue
the
shoes.
Red pearls.
We've got the red pearls. They're ready to go. And yes, we have the yellow paint.
Are they going to let me wear paint in the water? Other people are going in the water.
Well, I haven't checked yet, so it's maybe, I don't know.
This is classic Pete. Yes, this is what we're going to do. No, I haven't run it by anyone.
That's all right.
Lock it in.
What's that thing? Do it now, beg for forgiveness later. Yeah, it's fine. So Marge Simpson, right, you'll be dressed as Marge.
This Sunday.
Yeah, this Sunday at the West Coast Eagles WA Freeze at Optus Stadium for the MND Big Freeze. See fightmnd.org.au to donate. Over $115 million raised for this.
Do you remember that ep where Marge Simpson was wearing the wetsuit under her dress?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I might do that ep.
No, you won't be doing that one.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
Right now, though, you'd be in the thick of it if you're listening to this show and you've got kids because you'd be trying to get them ready and banging your head against a wall because you're fighting them on absolutely everything. For the 17th time, telling them to get their shoes on. Well, we have someone who can help you. Her name is Jen Muir. She's a parenting educator from Connected Parenting, and she's joined the show to occasionally give us some really great, useful tips.
Yeah, now, yesterday we spoke to Jen Muir about practical tips managing your kids at school drop-offs, how to get them to school. Today, we talk about how to deal with your own feelings after you've had a particularly difficult morning with the kids.
How do you manage how you feel when you drop them off after you've yelled at them?
How do we relieve parents of their guilt?
No, because honestly, there's two different versions of her. There's the version of her that is the one that's dropped the kids off after spending the morning fighting them all morning. And that's the heavy, I've had a rough morning. Like, it just sets her up for a terrible day, right? Mm. And then there's the other version of her where everything's gone really smoothly and it's like the weight of the world is off her shoulders and she can get on with her life. And it is troubling. It's hard. It's bloody hard. So how do you do that? How do you manage how you feel if you've had a rough morning with them?
I think one of the biggest tools we can bring to our parenting, the most helpful thing I can give parents, whether it's a brand new parent that's in the first 24 hours with a newborn or whether it's us dropping multiple kids at school, is self-compassion. And by that, I mean actively in the car when you're feeling absolutely terrible, I yelled, I got it wrong, putting your hand on your heart, and I know this sounds a bit, woo-woo, but genuinely, and saying, that was really rough, and I'm a really good parent, and I really try, and it might not have gone how I hoped, or that was not a good morning, but I really am doing the best that I can. Now, that really matters, because if we berate ourselves or go, why can't I be better? Why can't I be more patient? The reality is, raising kids is messy. It is going to make us snap and yell and make mistakes. And the really good news about our kids is that if we can parent in the way we kind of want to and in the way we see on Instagram and what experts like me say, if we can do that around 30 of the time. If we can get that right 30% of the time, that's enough to raise capable, emotionally intelligent humans that have a great relationship with us. So we don't need to get it right all the time. And I think when we get it wrong, if we can be nice to ourselves, it's actually an opportunity to go, that didn't go well. How can I do something nice for myself, or how can I support us so that it goes a little bit better tomorrow?
So there you go. That's Jen Muir. That's just a part of the extraordinary chat that we had with her about the really practical ways to manage your own feelings as a parent, but also how to manage the kids on those really tough mornings you're trying to get them to school or for drop-offs. She's our parenting educator from Connected Parenting. If you'd like to go and check it out, just search Pete and Kymba on the Listener app.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins. Best call wins.
The best, the best, the best.
We're taking your best calls. Oh, look at you fist pump in the air.
I love this. This gets me up and about, this does.
It's best calls on the worst day at work. For whatever reason.
Oh.
Any day. It could be any day. Yeah. We're at risk every day.
All the time.
Yesterday saw someone's worst day at work. The poor bloke who was dropping off the brand new refrigerators on the back of his truck.
How many were up there, do you reckon?
Look, you want to count? Here's the picture.
Okay, show me.
A lot.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so I'm thinking somewhere in the vicinity of...
There's got to be 15 up there.
There's got to be 15 to 20 fridges, brand spanking new, packed in boxes, on crates, on the back of a truck. And the driver flew around the corner maybe a little fast.
Oh, God.
Don't know exactly what's happened, but there were a lot of fridges on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And a massive amount of traffic.
What do you reckon's worse, having that accident or having to make the phone call to the boss to tell him what's happened?
I feel like it's the call to work.
It's got to be the call, right?
It's the call to work to go, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
Because you've got to justify it. And you can't.
No.
How do you justify that type of accident?
And you were caught up in the traffic off the back of this yesterday.
Yeah, I was.
Weren't you?
Because that's why I was wondering what was happening, and then drove past and went, oh, okay.
Oh, that thing.
He's having a tough day.
Mm.
And it is, because especially, any day at work. I've told it many times, my friend who was just a lowly 15-year-old getting their first job at Chicken Treat.
Mm.
And she accidentally removed the bolt off the end of the rotisserie, and about 6 chickens just flew across the floor. Instant dismissal. See you later.
Was that an instant dismissal?
Yeah, they didn't want anything
joking.
to do with her. No, told her to get out. Get out.
Oh, you've got to be kidding. That's an instant dismissal.
And it's easy to do.
Wow.
But I just want
think
to hear
that's
your
rough.
worst day at work. I haven't had many of these. I want to hear someone's real kind of
I've had a few.
calamity.
Yeah, at this station, we've got the promotional cars that drive around.
Yeah,
We
would
call
you
them the
drive
road
into?
runners.
Everyone's driven that car into something.
If you lived in Perth back in the 90s, you'd know the entertainment centre.
Yeah.
Right? The big brown monstrosity before it is what it is now. And it had steps, and we had to drive them there to go and give away some free stuff, and I got them stuck on the steps. I got it stuck on the steps. We bottomed out on the steps of the entertainment centre.
I mean, that's not bad.
That's rough.
Yeah, but the guys who have done it downstairs and knocked out the roller door at work is much
That's
worse.
a rough
I've seen
one
that
too.
way too many times.
But look, you know what? Those are tame. You're right, because this is a best call win. So we want the worst of the worst when it comes to your worst day at work. Shari's called up. Now, you work as a property manager. Tell us what happened.
Yes. So I was heading on my way home. I was swinging past a vacant property to do a final inspection, so no one was living there. Finishing up my final inspection, walk into the bathroom, and the door closed behind me, and that I went to open it. For some reason, obviously the lock was faulty. It wouldn't unlock from the outside, wouldn't let me out.
Yeah.
There was no windows in this bathroom because it's in an apartment. And then I realised I didn't have my phone, so I couldn't call anyone to help me. And I started stressing even more because no one knew where I was, and it was a Friday. So I'm thinking, I started stressing out, started sinking in. I was like, oh, my God, am I going to be stuck here all weekend? No one knows where I am. So I just started, panicking, and then I grabbed the toilet, ripped the toilet roll holder off the wall to smash a hole into the door to be able to put my arm through the door to open the handle to get out. But it took me a while to think of that because I was just stressing out so
Of
much.
course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And the current tenants are still waiting to have that repaired by the...
Hey, Jamie, you worked at a supermarket. What happened?
So I was a young fella, and on a Saturday, very busy, and my boss decided that he was going to go play social tennis instead of being at work. So he gave me the job of defrosting the big aisle freezers, and he gave me a hammer and a screwdriver. And as I was chiseling away with the ice, I punched the screwdriver straight through the main gas pipe.
Whoa.
Which obviously filled the supermarket full of gas. So we had to evacuate the supermarket, and we lost a heap of produce because the freezer was down for 2 days because they couldn't get a freezer tech to come in and fix the gas
Mate,
pipe.
that's on him. He gave you the wrong tools.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous tools to use.
And social tennis. What an excuse. Get out.
Christian, you drove one of those big trucks that had the election advertising on it. What happened?
I was, looking at my stupid sat-nav to see where I was meant to go, and I didn't look up, and I drove a 4.5 metre Liberal Party sign into a overpass at a local train station.
Oh, mate.
Right. What's the repercussions of that, Christian?
My truck did a wheelie almost and scared the bejeebers out of me.
I bet. So what? Yeah, as Kymba said, what's the repercussions for something like that? Like, who are you calling to say that that's
called
happened?
the boss who was he was over in Asia somewhere on a business trip. He's like, no, just drive it back to work. We'll get it fixed for you.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I've got the roof off now. It's in the back and I can continue my day.
Yeah, it was life imitating art too, because the election was a car crash for the Liberals. Oh, wow.
Laura, you're a flight attendant. I'm afraid to ask about your worst day.
So I was flying from Sydney to Singapore, and I was just doing the rounds, like checking down the aisle, and one passenger punched another passenger, and I had to restrain the one that punched the other guy, and then other people helped me out, but then the guy I was restraining, he ended up vomiting all over me, and
gross.
I didn't have any other clothes, another uniform, so I had to work in some business class pajamas for the rest of the trip. Going down the aisle in some pajamas. It was. I just wanted the day to end.
Well, you forget the rest of us realise if we have a really bad day like that, we can escape and go home or leave for the day, but you're really trapped on the plane.
It's Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins.
So moments ago, we were waiting on our US correspondent to get in touch with us to talk about what's happening over in Los Angeles at the moment. The LA riots, you're seeing even the National Guard being brought in by Donald Trump to quell what's happening overseas as we speak. The images and the pictures we're seeing on the telly are absolutely extraordinary, but arguably the biggest thing that has happened was the Channel 9 US correspondent, Lauren Tomasi, who got shot by a rubber bullet as she was caught in the crossfire yesterday.
After hours of standing off, this situation has now rapidly deteriorated. The LAPD moving in on horseback, firing rubber bullets at protesters, moving them on through the heart of LA. You just shut the fuck up.
You okay?
I'm good. Okay.
She was I've seen that video so many times. She was meters away from the person who shot that rubber bullet.
Yeah.
Meters.
It's really kicked off. And it kicked off quickly, it seems, because I think during the whole election, Trump was saying, I'm going to get rid of a bunch of immigrants, basically, or migrants. He was like, this has to change. And so he's now vowed to deport record numbers with a set goal of at least 3,000 migrants each day.
3,000 a day?
That's what he has told ICE. People are calling it the ICE protests. It's Immigration and Customs Enforcement. That's where the ICE comes from.
Right.
And so he has said to these ICE officers, we're going to get rid of 3,000 people a day, and are actively working on it. So Trump claims that there's a crime wave and that illegal immigrants are responsible, despite there being no public data to verify his claims.
Well, this was a massive push on his policy. And we know that one of the things that we saw through Trump while he was campaigning was that there were a lot of things that he campaigned on which were basically not factually correct or unsubstantiated. But
Well-
to be able to make a big deal of them assured the vote,
Well, of
essentially.
course. And so now they've got these ICE agents. They've targeted California, New York, Illinois, particularly because they reliably vote blue. They go for Democrats. So it's certainly like really kicking off now because he's going, I'm actively going to move all of these people out.
Yeah.
And he's used a couple of high-profile crimes to highlight the problem. But actually, numbers are down for felonies with illegal immigrants. So he hasn't really got anything to prove.
Yeah.
But it is.
And the people protesting are the local minorities. People
Yeah,
like your Latinos and all of that
Of
sort of
course,
stuff.
it's
What
just
was
out of
super
control.
interesting, I had no idea about this, is that for the president to enact sending in the National Guard, generally it happens with the say-so of the local governor, right, from that municipality.
Yeah.
So in this case, it would be the Los Angeles governor. And in this case, it didn't happen. Trump just came right over the top of him and said, stuff it, we're sending in the National Guard and I don't care. And the governor's come out and he has roasted Trump. And we're starting to see this really interesting thing play out where it's kind of almost falling all apart around him.
Yeah, but
You know, the chips, he's starting to show his hands and I don't think people are happy about
it
it.
is a very big challenge for everyone when you make powerful and rich people unhappy.
Yeah. It's a weird one. Anyway, it's one of those moments where you go, lucky we live here in our little part of the world in WA.
Yeah, well, we're still trying
Far
to
away
get
from
some
this.
reporters over there to talk to, but they're all right in the thick of it right now.
Yep, absolutely.
Pete and Kymba with Ben Cousins. 6 to 9 weekdays. Save up to 50% off roller blinds, sheer curtains and vertishears at ABC Blinds mid-year makeover sale. Book a free measure and quote at abcblinds.com.au.